and you're only doing a catch-up game. So at some point, they wanted a technology provider to have a control on how things are changing and therefore push those changes into the banks so that they're already on top of it and not react to a change that is happening. So that's one thing that we have taken as feedback. You also see as a part of that transaction, compliance is one thing of executing the right thing, but at the end of the day, the execution has to be right. So which means if it is a payment, 1 in 4 payments fail. I need to know the transaction is going to be reaching consistently, so which means it has to clear fraud filters, it has to clear sanctions filters, and I need to have some kind of view that it is taking the optimal route and not going around the world before it takes 10 days for the payments to go through. So there has to be some consistency. So if you see some of these feedbacks, if there are no questions, I'm happy.
Any question? You can also leave it on the Slido link and then we'll read it out for clarity. So I think I should have mentioned this earlier, but on the panel, whilst the panel is going on, if you have any question at all, the same Slido link that you used, you can use that to just pop or drop a question, and then after the panel session, we'll make sure to address all the questions that you bring up.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
I work with ARM.
We'll make sure to address all the questions that you bring up.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Why I'm saying that is I'll answer that question in 3 parts. The first part is the compliance part. The compliance part, you already see FATF regulations coming in from Central Bank of Nigeria around virtual assets service providers and virtual assets itself. So as a part of that virtual assets, you already have crypto and all the other alternative assets included as a part of regulation. So you will start seeing crypto providers, fintechs, digital wallets, all getting included as a part of that backend. So we know it's not new it may be new in Nigeria because CBN is implementing that framework right now, but then we had that as a part of PSD2 and PSD3 in Europe, for example, and you had a similar kind of a crypto. When it comes to crypto, let me take an example, then Naira here, which is fiat, and then you need a bank access, bank code and account number here, right? So there is an exchange of information. If you go through an existing SWIFT network, or even through an existing instant payment provider, you basically are only looking at Forex movements across the board. The clearing and the settlement is not changing, right? So at the end of the day, the compliance, which is what is the source of fund, what is the compliance of the person who's making a payer, who's receiving the payment, do we have the due diligence and onboard?
That I think due to time, if there are any other questions, you still have the Slido link. Kindly leave it in, and as the conversation keeps going on, we'll make sure that we bring up all the questions as well. So with a round of applause, let's thank Vijay for coming up on stage for us today.
I'll sit next.
Thank you very much, Vijay, once again. So as we're moving into the next session, you can see that we are going to deep dive into correspondent banking and payments issues that we are facing across the region. And as I said, the Slido link is still up, so you can send your questions as and when the panel session is taking place as well, and we'll make sure that we address all of that. So for the panel members for this session, with a round of applause, help me welcome Mr. Okonkwo Chukwuma, who is the head of Correspondent Banking Liaison and Sanctions Regime Unit with the Union Bank of Nigeria, PLC. With a round of applause, let's welcome him.
providing XRP to your client and you can move XRP to XRP or XRP to Bitcoin or XRP to Ethereum, that's a digital to digital transaction. In that case, the front end part of your wallet, AML KYC,
in this conversation. So as Diana indicated, my name is Frederick Reynolds, and actually my professional career began in the banking sector, where I've worked with Access Bank, I've worked with Stanbic Bank, I worked with a bank in Ghana called GN Bank, and I've always taken banking as something that is very important to me. I actually do have a degree in banking and finance, so you would have tell that banking is something that is very
up all the questions as well. So with a round of applause, let's thank Vijay for coming up on stage for us.
hefty fines, it could be sanctions. From there. So probably I'll begin this with Mr. Chukuma to help us understand what correspondent banking is in the first place, and then we'll continue from there. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a respondent bank, and a relationship whereby the correspondent bank is actions or carry out some activities that the respondent bank is unable to, payments and so on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, if you can help us understand some of the challenges that you have within the sector, correspondent banks have, and then the respondent banks also have, maybe one or two examples of
Information, withholding of information are not being given on time.
So you can send your question as and when the panel session is taking place as well.